Hi, I'm Jesse, and it's time for my 1 week update on my Wild for Weight Loss. If you remember from last week, I explained that I'm going to be doing an eating challenge where I'm going to eat no store-bought food for a month. And my hope is to lose weight, save some money, and also just have fun because what I'm actually doing is I'm not eating anything that I don't harvest from nature. All my food is going to be harvested either from garden or naturally. And so this is an update video to let you know how I've been doing over this first week. So far, it's been going really well, and I've been eating about one meal a day. There's been no days where I've eaten more than one full meal, but I've snacked a little bit here and there on some things that I had left. There have been no days where I've eaten nothing, so that's a win. I've gotten enough fish or enough vegetables to eat something each day. Over the course of this first week, my body has become accustomed to the new style of eating, and I'm getting used to the one meal a day thing. Now, here you're going to see a bunch of clips. I took a little bit of video or a picture each day of the food that I'm eating for that day. And so you'll see a few clips of all the food that I've eaten this week. But afterward, I'm going to make a few more comments about it and tell you what my progress has been, and I'll tell you how much weight I've lost so far this week. Day 2 of Wild for Weight Loss. And today, my dinner is some panfish that I left whole so that I could sort of pick the meat off of the bones and get a little bit more than I would if I filleted them. And the way I prepared them was that I put a little bit of salt, pepper, and cayenne on them, and I fried them in a little bit of oil. Still day 2, and the kids went to the neighbors and came home with these fresh-picked raspberries, so that's what I'm having for dessert. Wild for Weight Loss day 3. And this is what I'm having for dinner tonight. I've got a few small northern pike fillets and a couple of small squash and an onion. And I'll be frying these. I'll be frying the squash and onion together and then frying the fish separately, and that'll be my dinner for tonight. Now here's the finished product. Yellow squash with onions and a few pike fillets, and that'll be my dinner tonight. Day 4 of Wild for Weight Loss, and this is my after church lunch today. Yesterday I went out and caught some crawfish, and we have some fresh green beans from our neighbor's garden as well. And so since I can't do a proper low country boil with these crawfish, I'm going to throw the crawfish and the green beans in the water together, and I hope it'll turn out tasty. Alright, this is day 4 of Wild for Weight Loss, and this is the biggest plate of food that I've had so far, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this is a big pile of green beans and a bunch of crawfish that I caught yesterday. That's the finished product. Day 5 of Wild for Weight Loss, and this is my dinner tonight. So I've got some carrots here that I'll be eating raw, and one rock bass, and some fillets from a freshwater drum, or around here people call them sheep's head. And a lot of people call this a trash fish, and they won't eat them. And I've never eaten one, but I've heard recently that they're really good. So this is my attempt. This is the first one I've ever caught, and I'm gonna fry up a portion of it. And I'm going to poach some of it, and we'll see which one is better. All right, so here's the finished product. I've got some poached freshwater drum on the left, fried freshwater drum on the right, and one rock bass that I fried whole so I can get a little bit more meat out of it, and a few carrots. And if you're wondering, the freshwater drum is delicious. So this is day 7 of Wild for Weight Loss, and I'm out of vegetables, so I'm down to only fish at the moment. And tonight I'll be eating these 2 catfish fillets. And there's the finished product, 2 fried catfish fillets. So the first meal I want to talk about is day 4, which was the crawfish and green beans. And that was the very first time that I actually had enough food to feel full. The other days, I had enough to feel not super hungry anymore, but I wasn't really feeling full.
As you can see by the way I look, I like to have a big pile of food in front of me when I'm eating. And this was the first day I actually got to have a big pile of food. I had a big pile of green beans and some crawfish, and it looked like a lot of food. But of course, after I cleaned the crawfish, there was a lot less there than it looks like. But still, the big pile of green beans made me feel really satisfied. The next meal I want to mention as interesting is day 5, where I had carrots and one little rock bass and freshwater drum. Now, I've never eaten freshwater drum before, and around here, as I mentioned in the video, around here, they're considered trash fish. People put them in the same category as carp, and so I had never ever eaten one. And around here in Wisconsin, they're called sheephead or sheep's head. And any Wisconsinite that you ask, have you ever eaten a sheep's head? They would say, no, definitely not. But I was desperate enough for food that I'm like, I think I'm gonna try a sheephead and see what happens. And when I fried those up, I filleted them. They filleted beautifully, just like any other fish. There were no bones in the fillets. I fried them up, and the first one I tried, I was amazed at how good it was. As far as I'm concerned, it's right up there with walleye or with perch, and that's near blasphemy to say something like that in Wisconsin. And I am pro freshwater drum. I'm pro eating sheephead, and I'm happy to let everybody else think that they're terrible so that there's more in the water for me, because this is going to be a new fish that I target regularly, and I'm more likely to go after sheephead than I am to go after walleye, because they're just that much easier to catch. So I'm really excited about having discovered this. Now, the last meal I want to mention from this past week is day 6, which day 6 turned out to be somewhat of a disaster eating wise. Of course, I loved it because I didn't have to stick to my diet on that day, because as part of my rules, I made a rule that if someone invites me to dinner, I'm going to eat what is served. Well, I had a high school friend drop by that I haven't seen in years, and he wanted to go out to dinner. He invited us to dinner and wanted to go someplace that we really enjoy. So I counted this as being invited to have dinner with someone, and so I decided to eat what was served. And what was served is Pizza Ranch. And Pizza Ranch, if you don't know what that is, it's sort of a Midwestern pizza chain where there's a pizza buffet and there's also a salad bar and chicken, potatoes, things like that. Hearty sort of comfort foods. And so I started off with a salad, but it didn't take me very long to switch to pizza and chicken. So I ate a lot of food on day 6, but surprisingly, I only gained 1 pound from that because I bounced right back immediately and continued to eat the way I'd been eating. And so those calories really just supplemented what I was eating before. And my lower calorie days made that one big day less significant. And so I still continued to lose weight, even having overstuffed myself at Pizza Ranch. And I probably didn't eat as much as I normally would have at Pizza Ranch because I knew what I was on this plan. But at the same time, I definitely overate at Pizza Ranch, but it didn't affect the rest of my plan all that much. I'm sure what you're wondering is, did you lose any weight? You want to know if this crazy weight loss plan is working, if this crazy way of eating is actually giving me any benefits. Well, here are the numbers. I started this weight loss plan at 311.7 pounds. And after 1 week, 7 days, I weigh 295.9. That means that in the first week of eating this way, of eating one meal that I caught myself each day, I've lost 15.8 pounds in the first week. And I feel like that's a big number. And of course, every week 1 is a big number. Anytime you start a new weight loss plan, week 1 always feels better than the weeks that come after it. But that feels like a pretty good week 1. 15.8 pounds in 7 days is a lot. So far, I've been really encouraged with what's happening, and I don't feel terribly hungry all the time. And most of my time is spent out gathering food or getting food in some way, and so I'm not sitting at home being hungry wishing that there was something in the refrigerator. I'm out looking for food, getting food, and so I think that's a valuable part of this weight loss plan. And so I'm looking forward to week 2. I already know that in week 2 we have a couple of birthday parties to go to, so we'll see how that goes. I'll eat whatever food is served there, and I'm assuming that it'll be the same sort of thing as with Pizza Ranch, where I'll eat enough that I would normally gain a little bit of weight, but I'll bounce right back because there's no way for me to continue holding on to that weight the following day. So as I've said, I'm really encouraged with the progress that I've made, and I'm hoping to make even more progress in the coming weeks. So I hope that you'll check back often, check back next week to see how my second week goes, and if I lose another 15 pounds next week. That would be an amazing 2-week journey of about 30 pounds. So I'm excited for what's to come, and I hope you are too. After 1 week of eating this way, I'm still wild for weight loss.